Stock Hookup,
Yeah.
which is a fishing show on 1090. That is a show that there's no reason for that to be on 1090 other than it's been there for so long. Everyone knows it's there. Like that's a perfect show to do. It's because it's a niche topic to do it online because then you can target who you're pointing to.
Right.
You know, like if you are a real estate agent in Vista, you can do
We're live,
a show. You can do a show in Vista and then just target people in Vista. Or you're doing,
Wow,
you know,
it's better than direct marketing. Like, wow.
100%. So do you need a permit for that? That's the question, Ian.
Do you?
Do you need a permit?
Well, if you did it out on the streets, maybe, but it's like you're in the studio, so.
So like there's new rules, right, about granny flats and conversions and stuff like that. There's a lot of unpermitted work that's been done on properties in San Diego. That's
Structures.
Kind of, structures, unpermitted structures, let's say. So give us the download on that stuff. You've created a huge niche for yourself and great insight.
So I found a niche in 1991. I became an affiliate of the home inspector industry. So probably about 98% of all homes that are sold now have a physical property inspector or home inspector go into that property for that prospective buyer. And they're looking at the working conditions of, you know, does the heater work correctly, the dishwasher, things of that nature. Now, a lot of times during that escrow and that full disclosure period, they're telling people, well, I kind of have 2,000 square foot actual, but permitted I have 1,600. So then they'll bring me in for a co-compliance survey. So I'm looking at the zoning ordinance for how close can I build to the setbacks or the property lines, how high can I go, how much lot coverage I can have, floor area ratio, what do I need for off-street parking, can I get that second non-permitted unit legal, and then phase 2 of my company is drawing plans, go get the permit, have the inspections done.
So do you work with a lot of home flippers?
Yes.
Or is it okay?
Yes.
Because they're the ones who are always trying to maximize square footage and
Right. So a lot of them I'm helping
the garage
them,
into
you know,
a unit.
get that ROI, return on their investment,
That's right.
and increase that degree of nonconformity. So sometimes it may cost money to fix what they have, but now with this new ADU law, which we're going to speak during this topic, is let's make it a second unit. Put a kitchen in it, put a bathroom in it. Now we can afford to fix our problem and get more money on the resale of that.
there's a lot of value in that, right, Joe?
Absolutely. Not only that, I mean, it happens a lot that we're under contract, and I always check for my clients when I represent buyers or sellers, and I realize that there is extra square footage, which we have no idea where it comes from. So it just could be, at times it's visible. It's easy to, you know, to find out there was an enclosed patio or whatnot, and it's a specialist in that. At times, that is kind of hard. You just see there's 500, 600, 700 square feet extra, and you can't figure it out where it's coming from. So we are being in contact with. What's going on?
You need your microphone.
Oh, is it muted?
No, the actual.
The other one. So we're, you know, it happens a few times that we call them. You know, we call them up and say, Ian, is there anything you could do with that, or can we help out? You know, these people that had a problem and whatnot. So, and he's always so knowledgeable, and he's always been able to have an answer.
Thank you.
So no, it's true. I mean, I'm actually closing escrow on another property today, and actually that's another one we're going to give you. Just came to my mind while we talk. These guys are buying an amazing property in Spring Valley. It's another one. And there's about 700 to 800 square feet that is not reflecting into the
Actual square footage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the appraisal came in. Actually, it was appraised 50,000 above what we're in an escrow for. Obviously, not considering the structure that's illegal.
Understood.
So, and when I talked to my clients, that was the first thing. It's like, hey, actually, you know what? This is a great deal. Buy it, because we're going to have somebody who's going to come in and take care of the permits. No, it's true.
Okay.
That was from day one. They're like, really? Is that going to be hard? I'm like, it's not easy. So
I've
please
saved
explain
over
to us.
600, so.
But imagine that. They bought a house, and there is a potential 600 to 700 square feet that could be added to it, where the median price per square foot in that area is about $350. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How much would it cost, hypothetically, to have permits and everything, your services on a 600 square feet?
So again, a lot goes into that.
Of
Is
course.
it a single-story house, two-story house? Does it have an in-ground pool? So basically, drawing plans are plans. My
Right.
motto is pay me now, pay me later. The building department, however, they do not care if it was built 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 decades ago. draw the plans for current code, then the permit's issued for how I submitted the plans. Then a building inspector's coming out here to match my plans to the structure. That's where there's going to be some upgrades. So there's going to be some electrical upgrades, different things like that. And what I offer for my company is do a consultation first. I go out there and take a look. Does it meet the building height, all those type of things? Because if we just start drawing plans and I have to go for a variance and the variance is going to be denied, you're wasting money. Okay. So after 600 saves, of the biggest culprits are garage conversions to habitable living space. You hit patio cover, patio enclosure. Right. Then I go into steep roofs like in North Park where I have an 8, 12, 12, 12. Yeah. You're basically taking the attic and making it into a floor. Did they beef up the system? And then I've had dog kennels, chicken coops, second units. I've had whole houses built without permits. I enjoy my job. I've had fun with it.
Does the doghouse square footage count, Joe? On
I don't think so.
It might be where somebody's going if they made a bad investment, right?
Yeah, right.
So when you say, so if I own a house, I have a garage, I can't just turn it into a bedroom?
Not without permission. So you need to have a building permit that says these are going to be my fire, life, safety, and that's what it comes down to. Someone's going to live in there. It was a garage. Does it leak? Does it have fumes? Do you still park half of that garage has a car in it? So that's what they're looking at. They don't want somebody to get trapped in the windows this high off the ground. You can't get out. It's not big enough. There's light and ventilation. So
it's a safety thing.
It is major, and basically it comes down to the fire department and police. How many people are in an area? It comes down to density as well. To keep your property value the same as mine, and not just let somebody go build 40 units on a single-family zoned lot.
Joe, can you sell the property if, let's say, I turn my garage into a vacation rental,
right?
But I didn't get any permits, and I didn't really do anything legally. Can you still sell the house that way, or does it create complications?
You can have some complications depending on the mortgage you're going to be using.
Gotcha. So
if it's cash deal, there's not a problem there. If you're using, which majority of people are now utilizing, an FHA or VA, then you have a serious problem. Times we can't close that loan. You can't have, and please correct me, when a appraiser comes in, he doesn't want to see there's a stove or a kitchen or anything like that. So that could be a problem. The reason we're bringing it in today is because there's several things that you can help out buyers or sellers. Buyers, if you're in the contract, to have a peace of mind, you're gonna have him coming over and say, actually, you know what, this could be a granny flat, or basically, if we do the permits, I'm pretty sure we're gonna make it happen. It's gonna get permitted. So they get an instant, bonus. Let's call it a bonus, right? So, and the other end for sellers, and we talked about this, there's a lot of sellers nowadays, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they've been thinking about selling. Then they have this conversation with me, Joe, okay, so it is a seller's market, we're going to sell the property, and then where do I go? I sell it for $6, where do I go? Where am I going to buy with $600,000? So that's been a conversation that I had with a ton of sellers.
Yeah, basically, if you want to know what you can put on that lot, I can do a feasibility study for it. Like I said, the seller, I've got one recently where I'm going to work with a seller to get in front of it because the buyers fell out of escrow. They really want the house and they want to enter back into escrow based on what I tell them what they can do with that 5th-car garage. They made it into an office. They had an existing garage on the house. That became a bedroom. It's on septic, so there's a lot of different things that come into play. But
it's amazing. Yeah.
So there's a new law though, right? Or something that's helping people?
Yes, Senate Bill 1069 was adopted the January 1, 2017. So it basically said the entire state of California now, whether it's a single family or multifamily zone residential lot, can have a second unit on it. So my best target areas are existing permitted detached structures. The minimum of this second unit has to be 150 square foot. So I'm marketing to Metro Caravan realtors almost twice a week, North Park, South Park, Kensington, Burlingame, looking for that structure. It may be 90 to 110 years old. It became first permitted at 0 foot from the property line, then a foot, then 30 inches to what we have today. But if it was legally permitted, I now, with this new law that adopted, turn it into a second dwelling unit, put a kitchen and a bath in it, and I don't have to scoot it over. And if it's existing, I don't have to put fire sprinklers in it. That's a huge return on your investment.
Totally.
So we looked at something the other day that was on Caravan for many months. in off of Adams Avenue, Kensington, and I told the gentleman, you got a brand new 2-car garage. You've got an alley. I can just make the fence slide back and forth. There's 400 square foot, make it into a second unit. Now you've had a hard time selling it from 1.2 to 1.4 million. Let's increase it.
Now,
now
you should go 1.6 just because of that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of new territory out there for
So
me.
garage would count in this?
Yes, you know, it comes down to there's some restrictions for parking. If it's less than 500 square foot, that helps is it's within a transit zone of a bus stop or trolley stop where there's a pickup every 15 minutes. I could be exempt from parking. So in 2000, the city of San Diego came up with a companion unit. And that allowed, instead of the guest or accessory apartment from 640 square foot to go all the way up to 700 square foot. This new law says, let's say if I have a primary house and I build within that primary house, I can only be 50% of what's left over here on the primary. If I'm detached, I can go to a maximum of 1,200 square foot. So I can actually have a house, the primary be 800 and the new ADU is 1,200. From what I
So
understand.
it totally changed then. It used to be, wow.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was like, what, 20% before? For the
25%.
25% of the main
Yeah,
residents.
exactly.
Now it's actually up to 1,200
those
square.
laws are kind of off.
Wow,
So.
that's a big deal.
I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
I'm passionate about it because it's a lot of work.
It's like, drrrr, you already know it's a trolley stopper. That's why I love this guy.
Now, what about the parking thing, Joe? Because I think that's probably the most common thing that, you know, not everyone's going to say, all right, let's build a new, you know, granny flat. Not everyone will have the money for that, but a lot of people will have a garage that probably has a bunch of junk in it that they're not using. What is the sort of the trade-off versus, you know, especially Metro, for parking versus livable square footage? Parking's always at a premium, you know, in those places, but is it at a premium that exceeds the value of having that extra living space or rental unit?
A lot has to do with desirability. I mean, I personally can care less about parking. I mean, if we can come in and we can get another 400 to 500 square feet garage, an existing structure, which brings me, you know, I'm about numbers, 150 to 160, $200,000 more value to my home, I can care less about the garage. I can keep my $30,000 car outside. That's that's me, you know. But I know there's people that are concerned about storage. If you have 400 square feet extra, you can dedicate that for an extra bedroom or something, whatever you want. You still have some storage. You can have something else in your backyard, especially if you have a driveway. You still have parking, which is your assigned parking. It's not covered. Maybe.
Well, that's why Ace Storage is doing so well. I mean,
yeah.
you know, if you can rent that out or sell that and get returned $400 a square foot, you can certainly go pay $100 for a 10 by 10 each month.
Absolutely.
To store your, you know, usually it's stuff
How
you don't
hard
want
is
or
it-
need anyway.
Right.
How hard would it be? Let's say you have an existing structure, detached garage, it becomes added square footage to your main property or a guest suite, whatever you want to call it. And then you want to build a carport on your driveway. Would that be hard?
Not so much hard. Basically, you know, it all comes down to what that underlying zone says and what FAR would be, floor area ratio. So whether it's enclosed livable space or enclosed garage space, you know, as long as they say, hey, your lot's 6,000 square foot, I can have 60%, you don't max out. And usually there's plenty of room to do different things. So when I'm on sewer, it's pretty easy. When I'm on non-sewer septic areas, it comes down to bathroom and bedroom count. So not so much the bathroom, the bedroom is the design of how many people are occupying the bedrooms, and that's the supply on that cooking, cleaning, and things of that nature.
And I remember this conversation we had in Fallbrook with getting something permit. It was like, and it wasn't on sewer, so it was a little more complicated. But I
Right.
think, I'm assuming in the metro area should be a little easier now to get.
Right, right. So, you know, then it's going to come down to, you know, once I get up to 3 bathrooms in a house and a kitchen and laundry and things of that nature, it comes down to what my existing water meter is. So once I start going to that 4th, you know, bathroom, maybe I have to increase my water meter size, and that might cost you some money. So there's some pluses and minuses, and that's where we come in and try to help people. Is it cost effective to go forward with something like that?
Right. About time frame, I know they're a little complicated in San Diego to get permits and building inspectors. How long would it take from day one that you go there to the drawings all the way you get a permit to, let's say, to an existing structure?
So based on my workload, let's say I need 4 to 6 weeks to do my design and my plans. I'm going into the building department. If it's 1 story, it's probably going to come out of there a lot quicker. If it's 2 story, maybe, you know, I say pretty much the city of San Diego going to take 6 to 12 weeks on top of our design.
So,
3 or 4 month period.
Yeah, 3 to 4 months.
A lot of times you get them done through sooner than that, but I never wanted to tell somebody
Right,
I can
of
get it
course.
done in 2 months, and then your whole
course.
deal, and you're paying $4,000 a month.
I
mortgage.
walked by an open house in North Park the other day. It was on the weekend, and so I would like to stick my head in there and see what's going on, right? So I walk in. This place was less than 800 square feet. It did have a detached 1-car garage. Less than 800 square feet. It's a house, 2-bedroom. I think it was $659,000. Okay, so I think when you look at what people are getting per square foot in that
it's
area,
ridiculous sometimes.
it really makes sense. Especially a lot of those houses are small. So how can you utilize the rest of the lot? Or maybe you have a 1-car garage and you're like, I like my garage, but maybe you could build onto it, right? Like you could add to the garage a unit.
Correct.
If you have space in the.
And with this new law, it's kind of relaxed a little bit. So here's my existing garage. My new only has to be offset by 5 foot from the property lines. Where the underlying zone, I said I need 13 foot from the rear, but I'm only a foot off the back property line. Now I just add 5 foot. So you get some relaxed guidelines. I'm super excited with this new ADU
Yeah, that's
law.
amazing for people who own properties in there, or people who are looking to buy and invest. That could be a really huge way to add value in a market that's already high. A lot of people think, oh, we're near the top and things like that. But there's still opportunities to add value, and I think that's probably the biggest one I've seen.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And there's a lot of homes built between the 50s and the 70s, right? That they have the entry right here, one of the bedrooms goes right here. So there's an empty space between.
Oh, like the breezeway area.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how easy would that be to just add to it? So you have a living room in the back or whatever. You move the living room, the kitchen in the front, and then you have more space. You just enclose it, making a rectangle at that point.
It's easier if you do it up front correctly than trying to
Right.
permit on the back end, but I've had pretty good success on the back end.
Imagine that, like 280, 300 square foot addition to 400 square feet. Not like the one, let's take in consideration the one in North Park, right?
Yeah.
To build, they're ranging between 120, 150, 180. See, you saw the resale, it's $800 a square foot.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot of money.
More.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. It's
That's
a
what I
big
mean.
deal.
Yeah.
I can depart with my junk and park my car on the driveway.
I know, right? Absolutely. I'd be the first one. I'm like, where do I sign?
Yeah, for that much money. And this
Yeah.
one in particular it was perfect. The garage could have easily been a second unit. In fact, they had a little space attached to the garage where someone had been living in. It was just kind of almost like a cement room.
Right.
Really small, like a 5 by 8 or something. Really small, just like a crash pad. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, this is crazy, but I think it might actually be a good idea to invest, buy this property, even though it seemed to be so overpriced. $659,000 for 750 square feet or
That's
whatever
on the
it was.
low end, actually, when you think about it anymore.
It was the low price point, but it's also very small. But then you had this extra space, and then there was
Right.
also still room in the yard.
Right.
So I was looking at that going, man, this actually could be
I can
it'd
help
be
you with
crazy. It'd be crazy to buy this place and think you could sell it for more, but you really probably could if you did the right thing.
Yeah, I looked at one on Caravan the other day, and it was a small house. They took the small house that was next door, tore it down, they're building 3 units. So they just built 3 years ago this new detached garage with a 10-foot ceiling. I'm going, how beautiful is better than the 100-year-old house that's sitting there. And I'm telling the gentleman that's listing it for the seller, I'm just going, he already has plans on the wall for a second story. Why don't you just make that garage? There was 2 parking spaces. So with this new law, what people don't understand, when they can physically see their driveway, they think they can park 3 cars on it. But there's a setback from the curb to the property line, front yard setback. So in most cases, things are 20 foot from the property line for that existing garage.
Okay.
Most homes are L-shaped, whether it's a 1-car garage or 2-car garage. So you needed your off-street parking to be in that garage. You still had benefit to park 2 on the driveway. So now when I do a conversion before this law, I couldn't get credit for that first 20 foot of driveway. So I had to make the garage back to a garage. Now I can actually, with this relaxed standards, park as long as it's not in the public right of way. It doesn't cross that property line. So this is huge. Parking is king. It always has been king.
Wow. So I want to go back, and this is a strategic question.
Okay.
Claremont area, Bay Park.
Perfect area.
So that's becoming, in my opinion, the new La Jolla. A lot of
Right.
people from La Jolla is actually getting out of La Jolla, going towards Bay Jolla. You have gorgeous views, close to the freeway, amazing opportunities out there. The trolley station is about to open right there. New construction's going on. So a lot going on in 921 one time. So Question to you. Ton of structures there, small houses, 1,400 square feet, 13, 14, prices are already
Right.
astronomical.
Well, you got views, you got alleys on a lot of them, which help kind of make it more compliant.
Exactly, I was going there. And then they have a garage that's just a single, obviously, garage, and there's nothing sitting on it.
All right.
Would that be possible, you think, to add a second level?
Well, it's interesting, Joe, because a lot of the realtors say, I want to put an addition above my garage. My first thing with this new law is, why not just take the garage? You know, it costs you more to build up.
Right.
I'm willing to do either for you, but basically, if you want fast return and you're just going to do this as a fix and flip, that's one possibility. Adding above is always a great thing also.
Is there some regulations in that area that you cannot build too high? You're obstructing someone else's view, though you see the neighbors or across the street or next door that's higher. Would that be some tips for people watching? Like, if I see a house next to me that's a little higher than where I'm at,
again, those could have been built. Most of the city of San Diego was a 30-foot height limit, okay? Based on the lot width, then there's a 24 to 30 foot where they're trying to make a slope, so it's a view corridor.
Okay.
So it's not straight up and down unless it's on the side and the rear 30 feet. But just because somebody else has it doesn't mean necessarily you can have it.
Okay.
You're talking to the as-built king, so a lot of times they have to go fix somebody's wrong and they have them slice off a little bit of that roof, make it a flat roof to make it work. So it's not just that simple, but it's a good indication. So 30 foot is pretty much the height limit.
30 foot from the ground or from...
Yeah, and the way the city measures it is, let's say this cup was the building, I come out 5 foot and then I plumb up to the highest point. So it could be the chimney. That's my 30-foot height limit.
See, when you talk to people like this, I came so knowledgeable. It's like some other gears are going, but okay, I saw this place. That could be great.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have the same?
Yes.
And keep in mind, my random access memory is 19 building apartments from Tijuana to Temecula. So I work them all. They all have a little bit different zoning ordinance. With this new law, so far that I know of, City of San Diego just adopted their draft. Lemon Grove, El Cajon, Solana Beach, and I forget who the other one was. But everybody is forced to change their municipal zoning ordinance for this new law.
So all of them?
All of them.
Because it's a state law?
Yes.
Wow. That's
so I permitted a detached garage in Palm Springs for an agent on his own home, and when we went into Palm Springs, they didn't even know this law existed. And they have 120 days to tell us yes or no. So we're at 102 days in, and we're telling them, your planner's still fighting us, you better get on board. And the city attorney says, these guys are right, you better get these cats a permit pretty quick. So that was fun.
Get these cats a permit.
Yeah. So some great stuff. So how can we approach it? I mean, I have some other clients. Should I ask them to call you directly? Should I have me get involved in the... How do you prefer to...
As long as they got money, I don't care how. Whether I write the contract to the contractor, write it to you, buyer, seller, what we're looking at is basically just give me the address, give my answering service the address. I can look at Google Earth and tell you flat out if we can get this thing done or not. So,
quick question from Facebook was, is there a certain price that I can use to sort of estimate what the cost would be to build out a square foot?
Roughly, general contractors, and we're talking licensed general contractors, not just a guy out in front of Home Depot. A good rule of thumb, basic plumbing, maybe $200 to $250 a square foot might be a good number that they can plug in if they're building brand new construction. If the garage is already there, you've already got the box, you've already got the ground, you're just putting in utilities and plumbing and gypboard and things like that, so it's going to be a lot less.
Okay, all right. So, Herbert, hopefully that answers your question.
What about if you go on heights, so you are building actually on top of a garage, something like that? Can you use the same?
No, there's usually when I'm doing accessory structure above a garage, I may be maxed out. Like City of La Mesa has a plate height, not the pitch, but the top of the wall of 20 foot. So every jurisdiction has different rules. These state guidelines are guidelines. The city themselves can adopt more stringent or more relaxed. So one of the things is, can both the units be rented out? So it's up to that individual municipality to say, no, I need a primary living in one of the units, and you can rent the other one out. They can't be sold individually. It's still one APN number. So, you know, that's where the state has given some guidelines. And there's other areas that are more strict, you know, with parking and different things like that. So, you know.
Let me guess, it's probably coastal.
Absolutely. Coastal. Yeah, PB, where do you want to go, right?
That's exactly where it was.
But you're getting more relaxed by going into Bay Park and Claremont and things like that. So,
they are a little more relaxed, you said?
Well, there's more lot.
Right.
You know, I mean, I'm looking at some things in North Park where they're 37 foot wide. You know, so we have most lots are 50 by 100. You know, we got the new ones in Carmel Valley and stuff like that. They're 3,000, 4,000 square foot boxes. We started looking to buy there years ago, my wife and I. And you got a 3-car garage. You've got basically this much room between the 2 driveways, and they made that lot 45. Now they're like 40 by 90. So you know, it's like now you got a big house to have that Thanksgiving meal, but so does everybody else invite people because you got the big house. Now you got no parking. So there's an area over there by Spring Valley, the top of the hill, overlooking, and it's terrible. Yeah. So
that's an interesting area over there, Dictionary Hills. Like
Yeah.
they're elevated, you know, they're all like up on the hill right
they all
there.
do
Have you
illegal
been there?
basements. I fixed a few of those.
So that was my question. So they basically empty
stills.
shells.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
on still. They're empty shells. And you see this humongous structure, but the interior is like 1,600 square feet. But there's opportunity to build another
Absolutely.
2,000 square
Stick
feet.
some
if you want
windows
to.
in there and a floor, good
Right.
to go. Yeah.
Is it something feasible to do in that?
I've done
in
it
that
both
case?
on the front end and on the back end. So pay me now, pay me later.
Yeah.
Design it. Drawings are drawings, right? Just
right.
make it to current code.
That's right. So, I mean, there's a lot of people watching right now. They might be asking, it's like, how much does it cost your service to do something like this? Just an idea. They have an idea, you know, out there.
So we're going to see basic single story slab on grade. Maybe these garages converted 7 to 10,000, based on whether we get 2-story complicated tri-level. I mean, we can get up to $30,000, and then the city's going to have their average fees. So plan check and permit fees might be, you know, on average $2,000 to $4,000. What this thing has not worked out yet, this new law, is the municipalities with their traffic impact fees and development impact fees. When you read the ordinance, it's proportional. Everybody's trying to understand what proportional is. So we've looked at some. Linda Vista, their development impact fees might be $1,900. I might get up to $30,000, $80,000 in other areas. So that's our big draw right now on the second unit. If we're doing an addition to a house or modifying an existing floor plan, it's still a single family. It's a lot easier. So, you know.
So
there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
I still don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm very skeptical. So
Well, let's take a look at that one at no charge, and you could buy that one based
No,
on
I
what
know
we find
Here you
out.
go. Let's see if he knows what he's talking about. But think about this,
I'll put
seriously.
my money where my mouth is.
You
Okay,
go like,
I like that. I like
$7,000
that.
to $10,000. You get a permit for an attached garage or something like that on the property. Potential, what's 400 square feet of garage or 2-car
Right, so like
garage
you said,
times
you know.
$350 a square foot. Do the math. What's that?
Yeah.
100 plus
And
K.
you're getting on those better areas that it's $8,000 to $1,000 a square foot.
Right.
You know,
Let's say
Coronado might be tough right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
so I'm not really
Good luck.
trying to have people call me for Coronado, but you know.
gotcha.
But think about that. I mean, you might give them. You want to resell it, and then you have $100,000 extra, and you can add the $10,000 investment.
Yeah, especially for investors who want to buy a property that they can get more bang for the rental buck now, and then more bang for the sale buck later. You know, because
Absolutely.
adding the extra unit, there's plenty of people who want to rent. Plenty. There's no shortage of that. And then, of course, anytime you're adding finished square footage that's permitted, you're adding value to the home.
Well, we have a housing crisis, as everybody knows, and AIA, American Institute of Architects, they're trying to figure out how do we house the next 1.1 million people by 2050. You know, this will help. And, you know, with the economy the way that it's going, we can bring in our younger siblings, we can bring in our older adults, you know, grandparents or parents and things of that nature. So this is a great opportunity. It doesn't fix every problem that we have out there. You've seen what's happening. I call it stacked, packed, and racked. Mid-rise land is expensive. So anything now, whether it's a community, apartment, or, you know, condos, they're stacking them. There's no more land.
Yeah.
You know, or the land is too expensive to develop.
The days of buying a new house with an acre of land are over
Oh,
with.
that's done. You know, or you're going way east.
I remember talking to the guy who was running I can't remember his name, Michael something, who was running the Building Industry Association.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, if you can, buy a house with an acre of land, because we're definitely not building that anymore. There's going to be no more of that coming.
Plus,
So-
you can build an underground bug out center.
No, I think they're actually right now the new constructions they're way overbuilding. You know, compared to the lot size.
Yeah, the density. We've got more people packed.
Wow.
I mean, just go up the I-15 corridor. I mean, you can see what they did up there. They had the jets painted on that thing. It's just then they built in front of it. It was like a temporary mural, and that just, I mean, that's its own city.
Yeah, the Forest Ranch area, Carmel Valley. You can I-fi your neighbor almost.
Yes.
I mean, seriously. They're
You can definitely
1.2.
spit in their window.
Yeah.
you might be able to hear the conversation and not want
definitely.
to.
Same thing in San Marcos in Discovery Hills, 92078 zip code right there. It was so beautiful. When there was Sun Hill, it goes into Carlsbad.
Right.
There was a section of San Marcos that there was a really nice park. This park stood there, but now they're building 350 homes all around.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I went to look at the construction. Beautiful homes, absolutely. I mean, they're like 2,800 square feet, and the lot is probably, I want to say, 4,000, 5,000 square feet lot. I mean,
Well, look what they're doing down in Mission Valley. It used to be the rock quarry. Look what's going on down there. I mean, it's a prime.
Yeah, that place, that is really happening.
Celio, I think.
Finally. But you knew that was going to happen.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
too central. It's just too much land there.
Yeah.
It had to get built. Finally, the deal got done. The construction's happening, and exactly what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I
Extremely
looked at
dense.
some. They can be anywhere from $600,000 to $100,000 or $1 million. There's some nice ones. There's some,
Oh, yeah.
and they're diverse. They're different. There's some right there across from IKEA, and that I drove in there the other weekend, and you've got some that are single family, some that are planned unit developments.
yeah, there's a lot
condos,
of PUDs.
townhomes.
Yeah, I
there's a
know
lot
that.
of interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it went that deep until I
No,
drove
no,
back in
there's
there.
a lot of stuff going on there. I
I
mean,
got
this-
like 5 different complexes
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
They started with Civita over there, the townhomes.
Right, right.
You know how much they're going for those things?
No.
850,000.
You serious?
Yeah.
For 3-bedroom?
Yeah.
3-bedroom
Plus
attached
dues.
at home.
Townhome.
850 plus what?
850.
500 a month.
Yes.
Dang.
CC&Rs don't put your towel out there on the balcony.
It's time to sell, folks. I'm just telling you. It is. It's time to sell.
I mean, that's what we're adding. I mean, San Diego's it is the prime location. It's a place where, and it's very desirable. People want to move here. You need to have money.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I think a lot of people push now going back to Texas or going back, to Arizona because it's still a little cheaper.
But last year I heard, Joe, the first time ever, it was almost comparable. Someone could retire from Texas and come this way.
I don't know.
Other
About,
places
I
are way
mean,
higher too. When I was in Minnesota, I was shocked. I went
Yeah.
to Minneapolis, St. Paul for my daughter's national
Yeah.
volleyball tournament, and I just walked a neighborhood that was over there. Went to a little restaurant, and I let me get out Zillow and just see what these places are going. I saw one that was for sale. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was like, this is San Diego prices. We're in Minnesota.
Really? In Minnesota
This is
too?
literally the only month. It was June. Like, this is the only month that's nice here, and it was beautiful. But in Minnesota, very comparable. So that made me very confident in where our market is, honestly. But it's and this wasn't like some brand new. I mean, the house was 80 years old and been redone, but it was nothing crazy. And they wanted $670,000 for it. I mean, I was like, that's just wild. So it's not just San Diego. Where
no,
this is
it's
taking
all about
place.
everywhere.
It's
Yeah,
everywhere.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I have a lot of people that have a sticker shock, a sticker price shock when they come from Arizona, Texas. Then when we start digging in and looking at the prices back in 06, where we are right now,
Oh,
where we
yeah.
should be right now, I am a firm believer that we still have 2 to 3 year growth here.
Right.
We're supposed to be in the 600 plus, 625, 630 medium price.
medium
We're not
price.
there. We're not there. Because, 11 years ago, cost of living was way less where we're at. So it's just what the economists say, not me. I'm just listening to what they say. I'm the guy that sells real estate in San Diego, and I'm looking at what's happening on the marketplace, and I realize that the new construction is super expensive. I mean, you can't touch it.
So even if we have a spike in real estate, which a correction, rather every 7 to 10 years we have our
Right.
highs and lows. I mean, the biggest joke or the saying on the streets is, when's the time to buy San Diego? Yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
That's a perfect way to end the segment right
Yeah.
there. Well
I
done.
like it.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you
today.
very
It's
much.
great
I
to see you.
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Galazzo, great to have you
Hey.
here again, of course, my friend. And
Thank
of course, you can check out more from Joe on Real Talk with Giuseppe,
Yes.
which is super real on Real Talk San Diego and their Facebook page. That's it for today's shows. We appreciate you chiming in. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.